Welcome to Lighting for Profits, presented by Emery Allen, with your host, Ryan Lee, your number one source for all things landscape lighting. From lighting design, install, sales, and marketing, we discuss everything you need to know to start and grow a successful landscape lighting business.
All light. Welcome to Lighting for Profits here, presented by Emery Allen on Turf's Up Radio, your industry, your station. Oh, I feel so good right now, you guys. I'm so looking forward to this episode. I'm Ryan Lee. I'm your host of Lighting for Profits. And we still are the number one landscape lighting show in the world. Thanks to you guys. Thank you so much for your support, for your votes. I'm the only person voting, and we're the only landscape lighting show, but we're still the number one landscape lighting show in the world. So just remember, if you are looking to start or grow a landscape lighting company or division, you're definitely in the right place, and look forward to hanging out with you for the next 60 minutes. You can either, go put out another fire and go waste time working in your business, or you can stop and listen and be here live with me and my guest this week, and let's work on your business. Let's get you to that point where you prevent the next fire from even happening. So that is my goal for today and every week here on Lighting for Profits. Now, my guest this week is going to be Chris McCoy. Chris is backstage. We were just chatting for a couple minutes, and he's waiting patiently. He is with Haven Lighting, and so we're going to talk about his experience in the lighting world and his company and all the things they have to offer. So I'm super excited to pick his brain and find out what things he's found to work and what things that, maybe some contractors are struggling with. So super excited to have him on. And it just feels really good to be back in the studio. I'm back in my office, back in the studio. Oh, man, last week was rough. You guys know I am not a perfect producer by any means. This show is always a work in progress. But last week, oh my gosh, it was a rough week, and somehow Emery Allen is still with me. So I was at the GIE+Expo in Louisville, Kentucky, and it was a really cool show. But I found out that I'm not meant to do broadcasts remotely. So I'm officially now 0 for 3 when it comes to doing shows outside of this place here. Like I'm getting it down. Like I feel comfortable here. I feel confident. But man, put me on the road, and like there's a good chance that the show's not even going to happen. And if it does, it's just not going to work. So I'm super excited to be back, and it just feels right. So we're gonna have Chris McCoy with Haven Lighting on in just a few minutes. And I guess let me give you kind of a rundown of my experience at the GIE real quick. First of all, I was there in the Turf's Up Radio booth, and Heritage Landscape Supply Group sponsored, or I'm not even sure the whole details, so I don't want to put out false information, but I think they had some type of partnership, sponsorship, whatever, with Turf's Up. We were sharing a booth, and that booth was like badass. I mean, it was top notch for sure. And it made me grateful that I didn't do my own booth, because if I did my own booth, it would have been like, hello, it's Landscape Lighting Secrets, and then like Turf's Up Radio, and then all these other like badass booths, So I felt good. It felt like it was the right decision. And thanks, Tom. It was good. Hanging out with you there. And I do have to apologize to you and Brittany and Jaso and some of the other guys, because the last episode was that was not fun. I mean, it was fun, but it didn't record, and there was audio, and that's the stuff that wasn't fun. So here's the thing. When you go to shows like this, I used to never go. I used to be like, why would I go? I'm working. I'm going to go sell a $20,000 job instead of go to the conference, whatever. And maybe that's you, and that's okay. I did that for years, forever. I just didn't see the value in going to these things. And now, as I've maybe matured or whatever, and I'm going to them, like I see the value that maybe I missed out on, right? So it was awesome just walking around and meeting people. And I met like
people who were friends already, meet up with them and kind of renew those relationships, and then meet people who, like, maybe I'd met over the phone or online. I'm meeting a lot of people online these days. It's kind of fun. And so I meet them and, start further those relationships. And that's really the value, I think, in a lot of these shows and stuff like that, is building relationships, networking. And a lot of the stuff that comes out of it isn't necessarily like right then. It's not like a lot of these manufacturers and distributors that are there are like, signing huge orders and things like that. Maybe on the equipment side that happens a little bit, but for the landscapers. But in the lighting world, it was more, I think, just to develop those relationships and spend time with people who you like in the industry. And so it was really good for me, walking around and seeing what all the different manufacturers and all the different distributors have to show, some new products, some new strategies that are working and stuff like that. And one of the things that I wanted to kind of let you all know about, and I don't know if it's a big deal to you, but to me it is. I think this is huge for the lighting industry. Is I'm walking by. I mean, there's so many booths, and like so many. Like, I'm never going to do a booth there because this place is too big. It's like if you own like a little piece of real estate, like a quarter acre, and then you like fly up and get that 30,000-foot view. You like, yeah, there's my little piece on this huge earth. Like, that's how I would feel. So unless I'm going to spend like 200 grand on like this crazy awesome booth, I'm not going to do one there. What's up, Mike? Got to hang out with Mike Long. That was worth the trip right there. Mike's been in my coaching program. I've had him on the podcast here. We talk a lot, but never got to hang out in person. So that was awesome. And where was I at? Oh, so walking the showroom floor, looking around, and I look to the side and I see this sign, and it says it's from the Irrigation Association. And typically you kind of, I hate to say this if you're like super fan of the Irrigation Association, but typically those booths kind of get walked by, like, there's like cooler stuff to see, but this booth caught my attention because it said coming soon, irrigation and lighting 2022. So like they're launching, you guys, they're launching their the magazine. What's it called? It's called Irrigation and Green Industry right now. That's the name of their magazine. And they do emails and they do an actual publication and stuff like that. But they're changing the name to Irrigation and Lighting. Like that's big news. That's huge news for us in the lighting industry. Okay. So what that tells me is, one, they're looking at some of the up and coming things. Like, what are some trends? Like, I'm sure they've done some research to be like, okay, what else could we talk about? And voila, like, happens to be lighting, right? So the landscape, what I'm learning is the landscape lighting industry is still very young. I know some of you guys have been doing lighting for like over 20 years, but that just means that you're old, right? So that just means that you're old. It doesn't mean that the industry is old. So this industry, I'm telling you guys, this is an exciting time to be in the landscape lighting industry. This industry hasn't even taken off yet. There's so much more that's going to happen. It is happening now and is going to happen. And so, like, when I go to this event and see the landscape industry, which is a lot further along than the landscape lighting industry, I mean, they've just got so much more in terms of resources and everything else. I went to the huge convention. The huge convention was also huge, not quite as huge as GIE, but it was a huge convention, which was for like pressure washers and window cleaners. Now, the reason I went there is because a lot of these pressure washers and window cleaners end up getting into Christmas lights, and then they end up getting into landscape lights. So, but when you go to these and you see, wow, these industries are so much further along. They actually have a lot more competition. I know a lot of guys in our industry are like, oh man, keep them out, keep the competition out, whatever. But like, there's a lot more competition in some of these other industries. But the progression of education and what marketing resources they're using, and how they deal with their customers, they have a lot of really good information. So I'm excited because I'm tapping into these other industries and pulling out the stuff that I think could benefit the landscape lighting industry. And I'm looking forward to bringing those things inside our industry and bringing those to you guys. So I'll give you an example. I actually just got off the phone with a guy who I didn't meet at the huge convention, but I met somebody else who then introduced me to someone who introduced me to someone, right? So that's the value of networking. A lot of times you make you meet someone like, big deal. That guy didn't seem like much, but it's the introduction to the next person or to the next person. So I meet with this guy who does some powerful SEO stuff. And we're going to be doing some trainings together. I think I'm going to have him on next month. We'll have him on the show and kind of go over what we're talking about doing. But it's very, very powerful to help you rank your website. And it doesn't cost that much money. I mean, it's a huge return on investment. So a lot of good stuff comes out of networking, going and shaking hands with people, spending time with people, and just letting them get to know you a little bit. So that's my plug for the GIE, I guess, and really any type of industry event like that you can get to. So here's the thing. And Tom, I don't know if you're still here, but I feel bad if the first time someone actually reached out to me, and they were like, yeah, I wish the podcast had more of your experiences and like had different guests on and stuff. And I was like, oh man, their first episode was last week at the GIE. And I'm like, oh, that's like the worst episode. If that was your first episode, go back to the very beginning, start with episode 0, episode 1, like start there and go through, because I've had so many awesome guests on and we've shared so many life experiences that I promise you're going to get tremendous value. But actually the very last episode that we did, it was an awesome episode. Like I had several guests on, but it was an epic fail because the mics went dead. It was muted. You couldn't hear us. It was just bad. It was just, I'm going to admit it. Right. So what I was trying to do was I was trying to bring some competitors together and have them fight, like just start throwing each other under the bus and be like, I hate you. And like, I was trying to like, cause like, reality TV. But the problem is they were too nice. They were like all nice to each other and professional. I'm like, come on, like you're supposed to talk trash. Like, let's do this. But they were super professional. So I had Brittany on with Garden Light, and she talked about some really cool marketing techniques that you should be using, and no one heard because the mic was muted. I had Ryan Jaso on with Lighting Boss. He's talked about his Lighting Boss 2.0 that he's releasing, which was awesome, but no one heard because the mics were muted. And then we had Tom Garber on with Emery Allen, who was talking about his new Par 36 lamp and directional bipin, which really just is like completing his line, which I think people may have heard some of that. But regardless, it was just kind of an epic fail. So that was too bad. So wanted to go give those guys some love today because they were so willing to come on my hiatus with me. And I guess, I don't know if it's worth it or not. I think that I'm probably never going to do a remote episode again. But good news, sports fans. We are here in the studio, and things they seem to be going well. So I'm assuming you guys can see me, you can hear me. And that means that it's time to take a quick break. And then when we come back, we're going to be joined with Chris McCoy of Haven Lighting, where we're going to be talking about RGB automation, all sorts of cool stuff. So stick around. We'll be right back.
There's more to landscape lighting than just throwing a fixture under a tree. The best display is one that was not only designed well, but also stands the test of time. High-quality fixtures and bulbs are key to long-term success and customer happiness. At Emery Allen, our focus is on creating only the highest performance landscape bulbs in the industry, with long-lasting components that don't degrade or flicker with age. Each bulb's appearance is always consistent throughout your lighting project. We offer a wide range of base types, beam spreads, and color choices that will fit your needs. To learn more, give us a call at 843-480-4473 or email us at info@emeryallen.com.
Isn't it nice when the weather cooperates and crews complete jobs on time and on budget? But weather can cause delays, and with paper route sheets, jobs get lost in the shuffle. That's why you need Aspire Crew Control scheduling software, an easy-to-use, flexible, and affordable solution that allows you to shift schedules with a single click. Try Aspire Crew Control for free at aspirecrewcontrol.com.
Are you tired of working dawn to dusk 7 days a week and still struggling? Working hard isn't your issue. What you need to focus on is the business side of your business. That's where Profits Unlimited comes in. With our 42 years of experience in the industry, we have faced the challenges you are going through. We can help you with bidding, contracts, marketing, selling, and much more. Check us out at profitsrus.com. That's profitsareus.com when you are ready to earn what you deserve. And don't forget, tune into Profit Time at 10 to 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Remember, profit is not a dirty word.
That's right. Welcome back to Lighting for Profits, presented by Emory Allen. I am back in the office, back in the studio. It feels so good. Now we can finally welcome our guest, Mr. Chris McCoy. Where is he? There he is. What's up, Chris?
How's it going, Ryan?
Man, I'm doing great. Happy to see you, man. And glad technology's working. So welcome to Lighting for Profits.
That's a relief for you, I'm sure.
It just feels good, you know? It doesn't always go like it's supposed to, but when it does, it feels good.
That's right. Yeah, that's one thing about business, though, right? You're always looking for the next opportunity, and sometimes you're going to fail, and you got to recover, right?
That's 100%. 100%. So I wonder if that, I don't know, like I posted something the other day. It was like, if you're going to fail, or I think I said when you fail, just make sure you fail forward. But I've totally failed on these remotes. So I'm like, should I give up? Or is that like, am I being a hypocrite by giving up? Should I give it one more shot? You know, I don't know.
You know, it's funny because when people ask me all the time, being a business owner, they say, well, how do you deal with the failures? And I don't look honestly, I don't look at it that way. I don't consider them failures. I look at it as I just haven't succeeded yet. Right. And so it's a process along the way. I don't see them. I really don't see them as failures. I just see them as we're on this journey and we're on this process, and I may not have succeeded yet, but I haven't failed either.
That's a great perspective. I mean, I know, like I tell myself I should just automatically think like that, but I don't. I'm like, man, I am a failure. Like I think that. So I haven't made it to that stage yet where it's just automatic. Like, hey, it's just part of the process. I still am like pissed that I didn't do it right. You know? So props to you. However you figured that out. I don't know. Maybe you can figure that out and share us how you figured that out. But I'm excited to have you on. I know actually we've been trying to connect a little bit just one-on-one, and we haven't been able to. So this is literally like our meeting. So I figured, you know what? If we're going to meet, let's just film it and talk, and I'll ask you all the things that I want to know, and everybody else probably wants to know too.
Yeah, this is it. Yeah, we've been trying to touch base for 4 or 5 months now. It feels like, doesn't it?
Oh, exactly. So tell me about yourself. Like, how did you get into landscape lighting industry? How long you been doing it? Like, let us get to know you a little bit.
Yeah, good. So, accidentally, to be honest. So, I had another business. I actually had 2 other businesses, and one of them was a motorcycle bling up lighting business. And and I bought a home.
Motorcycle what?
A motorcycle lighting business. So we blinged up motorcycles.
Yeah.
And I bought a home, and it had old landscape lighting in it, and it looked like crap. And so I ripped it all out, and I went to replace it, and I couldn't find what I wanted. And so I said, well, if it's not out there, we'll make it.
When was this?
So that was probably 2017.
Okay. And so then what's your background? How did you decide to be like, well, I can't find it, I'm going to just make it?
I'm an electrical engineer. So,
okay. I figured there had to be something. It's not like you were like me and you're like a marketing guy. I'm like, oh yeah, I could build this. Cause I've never thought like, oh, I could build this.
Yeah, it's funny. So I had the motorcycle lighting business. I had another business where we made conveyor belts or scales for conveyor belts out in quarries and mines and places like that. So these scales were located, miles apart from each other. So we had to get the data to the cloud so the customer could see it on their phone. And so those 2 technologies actually merged together to to make Haven Lighting.
That's pretty cool. When did that come into it? Was it originally like, I'm just going to make some lights that can be like cloud based, or it was lights that can change colors, or was it all at once? How did that come to be?
Yeah. So the third piece of that I didn't mention is I hate putting up Christmas lights. So the color aspect was mandatory, and so that was all selfishness, to be honest.
Well, it's interesting because when you meet different people in the industry, like in Utah, what's becoming really big right now is like the permanent Christmas lights that change colors, because people get sick of hanging Christmas lights or paying people to put them up or whatever.
Yeah.
I personally, I think it looks good for like Christmas, but like year round, I'm like, I don't know, right? But then I'm telling you, like people love it. So what has been your experience in the industry when you unveil, like, are people taking full advantage of like the color changing, or is it more like just the home automation piece of it?
So it's both. When we first got into the business, we started with color. It was really our niche. It was really, I mean, if we came out with white lighting in 2017, we had no differentiation really. So we started with color, and as we were going around talking to customers, it was very obvious that, and this is before color kind of where it is today, and the curve on color is very rapidly growing. But this is back when I used to go around and ask, landscape lighting installers, has anybody asked you for color? And they say no. And today we get calls all the time coming in asking for color. So the market has changed immensely. But so we're going around talking to these customers, and the customers that weren't ready for color, 100% of them paused and said, "But hold on, I do want to control with my phone." And so that's when this evolution of the company kind of went from, okay, we're not just color anymore. We are smart outdoor lighting, and that's our direction. That's the way we want to encompass. And so we brought a couple products to the Stratus Transformer and a couple other things that are really selling well. That because of those conversations with those end users, have really helped generate a lot of business.
Okay, so like if someone wants to buy your product, but they just want it kind of for like the automation piece, but they're not interested in the color, can they do that, or it's like, no, it just comes with color anyway?
No, so we offer a transformer that if they want to buy anybody else's lighting, we offer a transformer that you connect to your Wi-Fi network. You can control it from anywhere in the world, schedule it on the app, and you can control it's multi-zone, so it's 2-zone, and you can control anybody's lighting and schedule it, year round.
Okay. Can they mix? And they have like some of yours that change colors and others that are static with other manufacturers?
So yes. So with our color system, you can. So the way we communicate with color is a little bit different than most of the companies out there. The transformer connects to the Wi-Fi network of the homeowner, and then we communicate over the power lines. So we don't have to worry about distances or obstructions or anything like that. As long as that transformer is connected, you're good. And then we came out with a module actually this year that allows you to connect anybody's white lighting on our system, and use it'll be a zone. It'll function those lights that are connected to that module will function as a zone on our full color system.
Okay. So you mentioned Wi-Fi. I know in the past, and again, I'm not saying your product or really anyone's, but how do you, like, let's say you have a transformer, it's right connected to the house, whatever, and you got good Wi-Fi signal. But if you do a transformer that's a couple of 100 feet out, is there an issue with that? How do you deal with that?
Yeah, I mean, you always have to be cognizant of that for sure. Okay. One of the things about our transformers is there's a lot of technology inside. So we've got transformers that have no Wi-Fi connection, like at HOAs, places like that, to where we're doing front entrances with full color. And the technology inside the transformer, what we do is we connect it to a hotspot and get it all set up. Your phone could be the hotspot. Get it all set up, set the schedule. That schedule gets downloaded in the transformer, and then it runs year round based on that schedule. So it knows that, hey, from December 1st to December 31st, these lights are going to be red and green. And on St. Patty's Day, these lights are going to be green. And that whole schedule is housed in the transformer. and even holidays. So even the floating holidays that move around, like Memorial Day and things like that, those are all set in the transformer. So you really can have year-round lighting in a schedule without a Wi-Fi.
Wi-Fi, yeah, that's pretty cool. So does it hold it, like if there's a power outage? Or
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. So the schedule is stored, and I don't want to get too technical, but the schedule is stored in the transformer, and then the clock in the transformers is battery backed. So even if it loses power, that clock is just like a watch, right? That clock still runs on the battery until you get power back.
Okay, very cool. So when you got into lighting, it was, the motorcycle lighting. I guess, was there something that drove you to get passionate about lighting, or like, why did you decide to become an electrical engineer?
I have no idea, because I'm probably the worst electrical engineer on the planet. But because I can't sit still for more than 2 minutes, but which is probably why I started my own business. But I love it. I love the technology. I love talking to customers. I love coming out with new things, and I'm a product guy innately, and so this lighting gave me the platform to use what I know and create really fun, cool products.
Yeah, that's awesome. Very cool. So when you were looking at it, what problem were you like, okay, we're going to solve this in the landscape lighting industry? What was the main thing you were trying to solve?
Yeah, it was really selfish. I am, like I said, I can't sit still for more than 2 minutes. So I went in the house when I ripped out all the old landscape lighting. I went in the house. I wanted to buy lighting that I didn't have to do Christmas stuff with. It would just do it automatically. So I knew I wanted color. Being from the motorcycle world where you can control with your phone, that was all. We knew we could do it. And I went on Google and I searched it and I couldn't find anything. And so I said, well, let's go.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So, you guys been at it since 2017. Is that when you started?
Yeah, that's when we started development. Yeah, we started revenue in, I think 18, and man, it's been gangbusters. It's been a lot of fun.
That's awesome. So as you go and meet with people, what's your best, like, how have you gotten your name out there? How are you getting business right now?
It's lots of ways. So we've tried a lot of things. One thing that I am not very good at is patience. And as I'm sure you're aware, sometimes marketing takes some patience. I'll even talk to some of our partners that we do some marketing with and for, and I'll say, hey, we're going to try this week, and then a week later, how'd that work? And I'm like, I don't know, man. It's only been a week, And so some of this, what I'm finding, even in myself, is that you just have to be patient and let the marketing do its work for a while. But also as well, you have to stay on top of it and monitor it. I've interviewed personally a lot of marketing firms out there that, especially for Facebook and internet marketing, to where one of the first questions I'll ask them, I said, do you demand you get revenue or, revenue information from your clients? And if the answer is no, the meeting's over. You can't do your job without revenue, and a lot of these Facebook and internet marketing companies, they think their role is to drive people to your website, and then it's your job to convert them. While it is your job to convert the right people, you have to get the right people to the website. I mean, any Joe can spend any amount of money on advertising in Facebook and drive millions of people to the website. It doesn't mean they're the right people.
Right. Okay. Well, what I want to do is I want to ask you, because you're getting your name out there, you're starting to get more clients, but I need to take a quick break, and we come back. I want to ask you about some of the struggles and some of the wins and stuff like that you've seen your clients having. So, and if you wouldn't mind sharing that. So we're just going to do a quick break, and then we'll be right back with some more with Chris McCoy of Haven Lighting. So stick around, guys. We'll be right back.
Attention all pros. When you leave a deal with your client, don't leave money on the table. Join Turfs Up Nation today. and partner with pros all across the country who can help you make more money for your services that are related to your project. Landscapers need plumbers, and pool installers need hardscapers, and every combination in between. Turfs Up Nation is free. Your information is secure, and you'll be connected with other pros in the industry who want to do business with you. And not to mention property owners who need help with everything. If you think your clients don't need you and the connections you have, think again. Join turfsupnation.com today and start putting more money in your pocket for services you never knew you could. Just remember to sign up for this free service. Go to turfsupnation.com.
Are you a military family with a spouse on deployment away from home? Did you know that nonprofit Project Evergreen has thousands of volunteers across the country ready to help military families with lawn, landscape, and snow removal services? We call it Green Care and Snow Care for troops. If you are a military family and would like to receive this free service, or if you'd like to volunteer to help, visit projectevergreen.org. Project Evergreen, creating a greener, healthier, cooler Earth, 1 yard at a time.
Hey, everybody, it's Brooke Ford, host of The Green Veteran here on Turfs Up Radio. Be sure to check me out every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern. You're going to hear some great one-on-one interviews with green industry professionals. We're going to talk about best business practices, highlight innovative products, and also provide some insight into some new emerging technologies in the field. That's The Green Veteran, airing each Saturday at 11 a.m. Eastern. And remember, Turfs Up Radio, your industry, your station.
All right. Welcome back to Lighting for Profits, presented by Emery Allen here on Turfs Up Radio. Joined with Chris McCoy of Haven Lighting. And we're talking RGB, talking technology, automation, and all those types of things. But I want to rewind a little bit and kind of ask you about, as you've met with some of these different contractors and business owners and stuff like that, is there a common trend that you see as you meet with them with things that they're struggling? I mean, it could be business, it could be they're struggling to learn the technology, design, sales. Is there anything like that you've seen a common trend with your clients?
I think probably the biggest one is one that you hit on a lot. I think just listening to you here and there is just being heavily in the business every day, and being the person that is on site and working, and which you have to do as you start out. And I think one of the biggest challenges for these smaller companies that are starting is the transition from, I have to make enough money to hire the foreman or whatever lead project person that goes, or I have to figure out how to invest in the right way so I can get out of the business and help grow it. And that's a tough step. That's a tough step that I think is hard for anybody starting out.
Yeah, 100%. So what do you guys talk about? I mean, if they're struggling with that, I mean, is there any advice you share with them, how you can help them get out of that phase?
I think you have to be in the business, right? I think you have to put your marketing hat on sometimes and really step outside the business. And, when you've had a long day installing lighting, probably the last, we get a lot of this where guys will snap a couple photos at the end, and yet there's art to photos. There's, at the right time of day for photos. There's, get the hose out of the lawn for the photo. There's lots of small details that when you're tired at the end of the day, if you don't have that real high focus that you miss, and the photos, at the end of the day, we sell lighting up houses and we sell art, and that's what the customers want to buy, and they want to see examples of it.
Yeah, big time. Well, that's honestly one of the reasons why I'm so big on helping people get out of the business. And there are some people that give me pushback and they're like, but I love it. And it's like, my dreams aren't your dreams. And it's like, no, that's not what I'm saying. But once you can remove yourself from the business, and then if you're still super passionate about designing or selling or installing, then go do those things because you want to. But The problem is you those little things, like you said, like just taking a good photo is not that big of a deal, but you're too exhausted to even notice the garden hose going across the walkway or whatever. It's like expecting your installers to know how to sell. It just doesn't happen. But if you are a business owner, then that you would recognize that would be something that would stick out like a sore thumb, and you'd be like, whoa, no, that's not going to work. Let's take another photo type thing.
Right. I mean, you're selling, regardless of, if you're a professional installer, you're selling a high-end install. I don't care whose product you're using. You're charging somebody, or somebody's paying you to do an installation, and all of that matters. The details matter.
So what are some things that someone should consider before they get into the RGBW world of landscape lighting?
That's a fantastic question. That's a great question. So I think that the biggest thing to consider is, do you believe in it? And I'll give you a great example. I was watching a YouTube video with interview with Jeff Bezos the other day, and I don't know how old the video was. It was dated. But he made a comment on there, and he said, I get asked all the time, what is going to change in the next 10 years? And he said, it's the wrong question. He said, the right question is, what isn't going to change? And in our view, what isn't going to change is lights are going to keep getting smarter. Customers are going to want to keep automating. They're going to want to keep controlling with their phone, and the color trend is going to continue. And if you believe in all of that, truly believe in it, then you should do it. And if you don't, then it won't work.
Yeah, no, that's a great answer. I believe that, whether it's about RGB or anything, like whatever you're selling, the more you believe, it's a huge mindset issue that really almost every salesperson in the world has. And that's one of the things that I try to teach people is, like, one, you need to believe that people need landscape lighting. Most people don't think that. They think it's a luxury thing that, like they could get it and if they want it. Like, no, I truly believe that people need landscape lighting. Like I don't know if I've brainwashed myself or what, but that's not a belief. Like they need it. It's not like they want it. They need it. They need landscape lighting today from you, and they need landscape lighting from you today. So when you have all that, like, it's kind of impossible to lose the sale, because you're not going to leave without them agreeing to move forward with you.
Yeah, I'm a perfect example of that. I am a terrible salesperson. I'm an electrical engineer. I mean, you don't get any worse at sales than that, right? And so, but I can sell this product, and I sell it all day long. I've sold systems over the phone without ever meeting the homeowner. Tens of thousands of dollars of systems. And it's because I believe in it. And it's because I believe we have the best product in the world. And that belief shows through in my confidence. It shows through in my body language. It shows through in the way we talk. And if you have all those things, then you'll be successful. Because at the end of the day, you have to be authentic. In order to be a good salesperson, no matter what your personality, people have beliefs in what a salesperson looks like. And in my opinion, the best salespeople are authentic.
Yeah, awesome. So I know that you guys sell to, obviously direct to contractor, but you also sell to homeowners. I know that's going to be a sticky point with certain people. How do you overcome that? How do you keep your contractors happy?
Yeah, so it's a great question. We do run into this a lot. Our business is really focused on trust and transparency, and so we are the brand behind what our installers install, right? And their biggest challenge, I believe, in this business is, as with any contractor, frankly, is overcoming trust, right? And you've got to overcome that trust hurdle to get a customer. And so when you have a brand and a company that is advertising, that is marketing, that is driving their name out there and building a trust-based brand, then and frankly, when we have professionally installed systems all the time, the homeowner will call us and we'll support that, and we support that day in and day out. Our system gives us unique ability to support it based on what we can see on the cloud. but that partnership and that brand is very valuable to us. And, because we do that, we do sell in all channels. We don't have sales. We never discount. So that is key in our model, is that there's no Christmas sale. There's no, we never have a discounted price on anywhere.
Yeah. So I guess that's your thing, is like, well, yes, you do it, you own that, you're transparent about it, but you're saying that we're actually supporting you because we're spending money on advertising and trying to grow
Sure.
the automation and RGB lighting of the world.
A great example, and they're all over the country, so you got to spread this out. But we got 15 leads this past weekend. I mean, just in a weekend. And so we don't do installs. All those leads
for your contractors.
For our contractors, yes.
Okay.
And so all that goes out. And going back to when I started, and when I went to do that Google search and I couldn't find the product, not only could I not find our product, I couldn't even find a similar product. And the reason is that it was out there, it existed. Their go-to market strategy was different. Our biggest bottleneck today remains the customer doesn't know the product exists. And so we have to advertise. We have no choice. In order to pay for that advertising, I have to sell some direct. There's just no other way to pay for it. And so that's the reason we do it.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, because that's what I was thinking. I'm like, no, the product did exist. They just, just like, I mean, this is kind of a good example, because just like a contractor who's like really good at designing and installing, if they suck at marketing, like no one knows about them, there's other products out there that suck at marketing and no one knows about them. You know what I mean?
Right.
So
yeah. And
that's kind of what happened.
I literally did Google searches and none of those products showed up.
Right. No.
And
Okay.
So that was the other part of the business plan, which I think is important for everybody, is that, we were kind of, when it came to smart lighting and especially smart RGB, because that business model was different, we are number one in content on Google as far as RGB smart lighting. So it's because of the business model.
Okay.
And being able to hand out leads and that's just icing on the cake.
Yeah, that makes it fun. I mean, I know several people that use you that get leads from the Google ads that you do, Facebook, some of the magazines and stuff like that. So I think that's cool. Tell me about this. I know another kind of sticky point that I've heard people bring up is the fact that it's not listed. I don't know if all your products aren't or whatever, maybe some, but what is the thought process behind that?
Speed to market. So I have listed, we have a kitchen product that I listed that I don't want to say too much about other companies, but we did get it listed. And when that entity went to test our stuff, I wrote the test spec. I literally wrote the test spec for them because our product didn't work like everybody else's product. And it slows you way down. Our objective is to have the best technology and keep continuing to innovate. And all of those listings slow us way down because in order to get approval, you can't change anything after that. It's a long process to have any change to a product down to the smallest component in that product. You can't change it. And we want to keep innovating. We want to keep being in front of the market. And so for now, I'm not saying it'll always be like that because we have lots of plans. But for now, speed is more critical.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. And then we have a question from Spencer. What's up, Spencer? And Brandon's there too. But is Haven RGB wired with standard 12.2? Also, how does the system communicate to each fixture?
Yeah, so our system wires exactly the same as any landscape lighting system. So there is no difference. You would wire it exactly the same. The only difference is you're going to connect the transformer or transformers to your Wi-Fi network or to the homeowner's Wi-Fi network when, with the install, and that's how you're going to control it. Now, the other cool thing about our product that we haven't talked about is we have a project in Orlando that has 11 transformers on it. One property, 11 transformers. They're all online. It all works as one system. So You can put lights in the same zone that are on different transformers. We don't care how it's wired. We don't care how it's configured. The whole system works as one system. The homeowner, interactively with the app, has no idea there's 11 transformers on there.
How does each fixture get controlled then?
Over the wire. So the communication goes from the Wi-Fi network to the transformer, and then the communication goes over the wire to each fixture.
But how do you, I mean, we probably don't have time now, but is it fairly simple to just program each fixture?
It's super amazing. Yeah. So we have what's called a smart key, which it's no secret is frankly a magnet. And you hold the magnet over the light starts flashing, it goes into learn mode, and then you get on the app and you assign it basically an address or a zone. So you can decide I want these lights to work in a group, or I want these lights to work individually. You can decide all that. If you ever want to change it, there's no rewiring. You just change it with the smart key in the app.
Okay, cool. One listener said speed versus safety. So I don't know. Does that keep you up at night at all? Are you worried just because you don't have some of these things listed, just because of the ability to innovate?
I mean, we do a lot of testing. We do a ton of testing. I think we do things more safe than a lot of competitors. I'll give you an example on the kitchen stuff. Same with our landscape. There's a fuse in every landscape light we make. There's a fuse in every one of them. I think we're the only ones that do that. But if anything happens inside that light, that fuse is blowing. And so now I give you an example. When we went to UL and I had a fuse in my kitchen light, I had to take the fuse out to test it, because they weren't used to testing products with fuses in them.
Really?
And so there's some things that frankly I think we go overboard on safety, and that's how I sleep is there's a fuse in every light.
Gotcha. Okay. Mike had a good suggestion. I'm always good at giving suggestions because I'm a coach now and I like this. But what if you raised your price on your website and then just give a bigger discount to the contractors? That way because I think that's the biggest fear is someone looks up the lights and maybe you got them the lead, but it's like, hey, the MSRP is, I'm just making numbers here, $300 a light or $200 a light, and you're charging us $400 a light installed, and they start doing the math, and it's like, what the hell, So is there a possibility of doing something like that?
Again, I think you have to understand that the way the business model works is, in order to pay for the advertising, I have to be able to sell some direct, right? Sure. And so if I raise the prices too high, the direct sales are gonna go away. And the other thing I think is important when it comes to selling direct is, in my view, and people might disagree with me, I believe that there's a very discrete line between DIYers and people that want professional installers, and there's very little gray there. Matter of fact, there's so little gray that if somebody calls into us with a lead and says, "I'm thinking about doing it myself, but give us a price," and hand it to one of your installers, we don't do that, because I don't want to waste their time, because every time when they get a price, they're going to do it themselves if they're thinking about it. And so I believe there's a very black line between DIYers and not gray, and professional installers. And so it's part of that belief that allows us to have this model as well. Now, I also believe that the matter of pricing is just a perception, right? Whether you're buying a $40 light. Had a great example of a conversation I had on the internet the other day, a $40 light and selling it for $120, right? Or buying a $40 light and selling it for $60, $65, $70, and putting the value, charging the same installation price, but putting on the value where I believe the true value is, on the installation and the value that you bring your customers. At the end of the day, and that's where I was getting back to trust and transparency. At the end of the day, would a customer be upset if they found out that you were buying a $40 light and selling it for $120? Probably. They probably wouldn't be too happy. And so, when it comes to transparency and trust, we like to build that and say, we think that the value is just being put in the wrong place on paper. We think your value is you, and we think you should charge for it. And we talk about that a lot as far as, especially with scheduling and programming our systems and things that really add value to the customer. With our system, we believe you should charge for all those things.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, our time is already up. It always goes by super fast.
That was super quick.
I know. And I wanted to just kind of give you a shout out, because I know some people have told me that, like, you know, they're like, man, the customer service is top notch. I mean, Chris has been on the phone with me before, super late at night, troubleshooting a system or helping a client, even a homeowner, stuff like that. So that's awesome. It shows a lot about how much you guys care about your clients and their clients and everything else. So
one quick topic. So when we, part of this talking to, selling to the end user, I think is also important as it comes back to us developing the Stratus transformer. The only way that transformer gets developed is if I have a conversation with a homeowner that says, I'm not into the color, but I do want to control with my phone. The only way we can make great products is to have those conversations with our installers, but also with the end user as well.
Gotcha. All right, man. Well, that was fun hanging out. I feel bad that that's all the time we got. We'll have to get on another conversation.
We'll do it again.
Yeah. But thanks so much for being here. If someone wants to learn more, what's your website?
Havenlighting.com.
Easy peasy. All right, guys. That was Chris McCoy with Haven Lighting, havenlighting.com to find out more. And thanks so much for being here, Chris. I appreciate you, man.
I appreciate you greatly. Have a good one.
All right. Take it easy. All right, guys, stick around. We'll be right back with my lighting tip of the week. We'll close this thing out.
Hey, this is Jeff Hesser, senior contributor and co-host of the Weekend Review here on Turfs Up Radio. Can't make it to major green industry events, but want to stay connected? Don't worry, we have you covered. Be sure to download the Turfs Up Radio app or visit our website. We'll bring you the live coverage you need to keep you up to date with everything that happens in our industry. And to find out where we'll be next, simply visit greenindustryevents.com. That's greenindustryevents.com. And always remember, Turfs Up Radio, your industry, your station.
Hey everybody, this is Hecubus from the Nightcap. I'm just sitting here relaxing within the vault with my friends and a tasty, tasty pint. You should stop by and listen in sometime. I'm here every Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern, live only on Turfs Up Radio. Your industry, your station.
Saturdays, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. The Weekend Review.
The Weekend Review. The Weekend Review.
Join King Darren and all of your favorite Turfs Up Radio hosts, including Hecubus, Eric, the Turf Teacher Jones, Brian.
My name is not Brian.
Ryan Lee, Wayne the Prophet Bowles,
One opportunity.
his son Daniel, Brooke Ford, the Green Veteran, Giddy Up, and many more. Join us live as we unpack the week and share what you may have missed live on Turfs Up Radio. That's the Weekend Review, Saturdays, 9 to 10 a.m. Eastern, right here on Turfs Up Radio, your industry, your station.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Welcome back to Lighting for Profits, presented by Emery Allen. Just had Chris McCoy on, Haven Lighting. He did awesome. I mean, great information, great experience, and I put him in the hot seat a little bit on some of the questions that people are asking me, and he had good answers. So appreciate you, Chris, for jumping on here with me and spending some time here on Turfs Up Radio for Lighting for Profits. I'm going to end with my lighting tip of the week, guys. I've talked about my landscaping issues in the past. I'm trying so hard to find a landscaper here in Lehi, Utah, that I can just give a bunch of money to, and then they just make my place look awesome. And in Texas, it was pretty easy, and it actually didn't even cost that much. They just had their systems down. Here, it is really, really difficult to get some good landscaping done. And so I had to fire my old landscaper, and I'm having issues with my lawn. It's really green in some areas and grows a foot in 4 days. And then in other areas, it's dying, right? Certain plants are getting flooded. Other ones aren't getting enough. So it's an irrigation issue. It's a plant selection issue. There's a few different things going on. But I tried contacting several landscapers. They had good reviews, and no one contacted me back. It's like maybe I'm that client, right? Not my client. But I finally get a hold of a guy. This was a few weeks ago, and he answers his phone, super professional. He's like, yeah, I can come meet with you in a couple days. He comes and meets with me. Guy's a total stud. I'm like, dude, how did I not find this guy years ago? And just, good at communication and stuff like that. Showed up on time. And so we agreed to do the work. And the work was done last week while I was at the GIE. And the guy was still cool. He's like, hey, we're going to, tell me when he's going to be there. And then he's like, hey, I'm going to be there in an hour. Can I FaceTime you? I'm like, dude, this is dope. Like, finally somebody gets it. And so he does the job, right? And he sent me pictures after and all sorts of stuff. I'm like, dude, this is somebody finally won. He won. I'm like super excited. But then I get home and I find the errors, right? And I've talked about this before on different webinars and trainings and stuff like that you've got to be on your A game for everything. Like, you could have the greatest install, but if you leave some wire clippings by the front door, or leave your drill, or leave some tools out, like, it can completely destroy the experience. And basically that's what happened, guys. I got there. And by the way, when we were meeting and I was giving him the walk around of like things that I didn't like about the old landscaper and things I didn't like about my yard, one of the things I was telling him, like, see these weeds? Like, I don't mind it. If I got time, I'll spray the weeds and I'll pull them and stuff like that. But I've been busy. And so now all of a sudden I got these weeds, right? And I'm like, I can pull them, but I would much rather just pay you guys to, like, do the cleanups, I want you guys to make this your yard. If this tree is growing another sprout out, like, chop it off. If weeds are growing, like, just have your guys get them, right? Well, we get back and the pictures that he showed me were dead on, right? I mean, the plants looked good and everything else, but seriously, I have a weed that's like as big as a bush. Like, it's like covering one of the plants because it's so big. And it's like, oh man, like, why didn't you just pull the weeds, man? So I sent him a text and I say, hey, just to be transparent and open with my communication, here's the things that I really liked about what you guys did. I gave him some compliments, and then here's the things that I wish, here's the positives, here's the negatives. And I thought this would have gone better than it did. So I tell him, I wish you would have done the weeds. And he got real defensive. And this was via text. I didn't want to call him because I thought I'd call him on Monday or whatever. This was Saturday. And he got real defensive. And I was like, what are you doing, man? Why are you getting defensive? You were such a cool dude. And so he says, actually, we did exactly what we were supposed to, exactly what you approved on the estimate. And I was like, damn, that's where he's going with this. Okay. Like, yes, you did. You did exactly. Wait, actually, you didn't. Because on the estimate and what I paid for was 5-gallon shrubs. And there was 6 5-gallon shrubs. And he only got 1-gallon shrubs because that's all they had at the nursery. Well, that's fine. I didn't care. But now that we're getting ticky-tack, it's like, actually, you didn't do everything like you were supposed to on the estimate, right? And so and then he's like, if you wanted weeds, then we could have done it. We would have had to charge. I'm like, yeah, remember I told you, I don't care. I just want this place looking top notch. Right. So I share this experience with you just as an example, guys. I want you to know that, like, in this situation, even though he didn't pull the weeds, even though I was disappointed when I gave him the feedback, all he had to do was say, man, I'm going to take care of you. We'll swing by early in the week and get those for you. Right. And honestly, I would even pay for them, but it would be a good gesture to just come grab the weeds, right? There's not that many, just the ones that are there, like big and nasty, right? And so my lighting tip of the week is do one extra thing. Every single job, every single time you're at a client's property, do one extra thing. Leave the place looking better than when you arrived. And what I told him was, I'm surprised that you'd come in and like take ownership of this, and you guys knocked it out. Like everything else looks really good, but then you just didn't, like, they didn't clean up very good. They had like dirt clods on the lawn and on the walkways and stuff like that. It's like, man, all you had to do is clean up, and cleanup isn't even really one extra thing. Like, that should be part of your process. But I definitely think that you should find one extra thing. In this case, in his mind, it would have been weeds. It would have been like, hey guys, while you're here, before you guys are done, clean up and just grab all those big weeds. Because, like, as a landscaper, I would have so much pride in my work. I wouldn't dare leave a property if it had these giant weeds, because it detracts from my work, right? So if you're there doing lighting, it doesn't mean that you can't pull a weed, right? Because they're going to see the lighting, but then they're going to be like, I didn't see that light. I didn't see that weed before, because now your light is lighting a weed, right? So do one extra thing, guys. It could be if their garbage cans are out, bring them in from the street. If they're getting home and they need help carrying the groceries in, don't let your guys do this, because they're going to like go in the house and like drop something and break some tile or something like that. But try to find one extra thing that you can do on each project, and I promise you, it's going to pay off dividends. Okay, there's something about do a good turn daily, whatever it is. Like, go out and do this. And I feel really bad because this guy was a stud. Like, he has such potential. He was like the best thing that happened to me from a landscaping standpoint in Utah. And now it's like, he's probably pissed at me because I'm pissed at him. And I'm like, but I'm the client. I paid you thousands of dollars. Like, why can't you just get it? Right. So he like made it 90% of the way there to the finish line. And then all of a sudden he just drops off because he couldn't pull some weeds. And he left dirt clumps. And I guess the other thing is, you're not going to be perfect. You're going to forget to pull weeds. You're going to leave dirt clumps. Stuff's going to happen. Take ownership, apologize, and get over there and take care of that client. Because now I'm like, man, now I got to break up with the guy and find somebody else. And I'd rather just like have a good relationship. I was trying to communicate, and he just was not dealing with that. Maybe he's having a bad day, but he was getting defensive. So I share that with you. Do one extra thing, guys, and let me know what that is. Every day, go out and do something, and I promise you, it's going to pay off big dividends. So that's it, guys. We are at the end of the show. So thank you to Chris McCoy with Haven Lighting for jumping on here. Of course, I want to thank Emery Allen for their participation as well with Lighting for Profits, and thank you guys. I mean, this honestly is nothing without you. So thank you so much for your support. Really, really appreciate it. Remind you to keep working on your business every single day, every single week, every single month. And I promise you, your future self will thank you. You guys have a good week. See ya next Tuesday.